The next person I'd like to call to the podium is Elisabeth Sabaditsch-Wolff. She's a friend of mine from Vienna, Austria, and it's partially due to her inspiration with a march, similar march in Vienna, Austria in December of last year, that we got together, some of us, to organize this prayer march. She represents Pax Europa. I'm not going to try and say that big long German word, but I'd like to call Elisabeth up now.
Good evening, and thank you very much to all of you for being here tonight. And before I tell you a little bit about the background of this march and the similar march in Vienna, I would like you all to keep in your prayers Asia Bibi in Pakistan, who is still languishing in jail for being a Christian. I would like to keep the Sudanese American lady in our prayers, who is 8 months pregnant, and she's in trouble just because she's a Christian. And I would like us to keep in our prayers the 200 girls that are being held hostage by Boko Haram just because they are Christian. And as a mother, it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart every single day, every single moment of a day, to think that it might be my daughter who is held captive by men who are these girls who are being sold as slaves. They're raped just because they're Christian. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring you warm greetings from my country, Austria, and my city, Vienna. It was in Vienna on the 60th anniversary of the signing of the United Nations Charter of Human Rights that an awesome idea was born. Why not use the date of the signing, the 10th of December, to advocate for persecuted Christians around the world, to call attention to their plight, and to push for action to be taken against oppression, torment, and discrimination. Although some fundamental rights, such as freedom of religion, freedom of expression, and freedom of assembly, are still available for many Christians in the world, other rights are restricted or non-existent. In some places, Christians cannot own property, and Christian householders have no rights. In some places, Christians cannot own property. And even worse, Christians in numerous countries are tortured, raped, and murdered. Every year, 200,000 of them are killed because of their religious beliefs. The greatest suffering endured by Christians occurs in Islamic countries. According to the Index of Global Persecution, published by the respected organization called Open Doors, of the 10 countries in which Christians are intimidated and persecuted most aggressively, 9 of them are Islamic by government or culture. It must be stressed that the persecution and suppression of Christians is encouraged and even mandated by Islamic law or Sharia, which is based upon Islamic scriptures. So it was appropriate to connect the anniversary of the Declaration of Human Rights with the worst form of its abuse. It was decided in Vienna to bring the persecution of Christians into public consciousness. We want to give the victims a face, because the phenomenon of Christian persecution is generally ignored and suppressed in the West. It was decided in Vienna to give voice to the voiceless. It was decided in Vienna to give a voice to the voiceless by holding a press conference with materials to hand out, to make personal contacts, to take a walk from the opera to St. Stephen's. We use torches because in December it's very dark in Vienna. St. Stephen's is the most beautiful and important cathedral in the land. And finally, to celebrate an ecumenical divine service with the participation of the most diverse Christian denominations, especially those from regions which suffer the greatest persecution. A growing variety of organizations supported what was then and now called the Platform of Solidarity with Persecuted Christians. At the initiative of the Vienna Akademikerbund, of which I am a board member, church-based institutions, aid organizations, academic and civil associations, and dedicated individuals came together to set an example and mobilize support. The 24 participating organizations made certain throughout the year that the subject was not forgotten in their own fields of activity. To date, 6 days of action have been arranged to give media presence to this sad subject, to strengthen solidarity, and to encourage practical help for the victims. The money collected during each day of action was to be donated to a project chosen by the day's honored guest. The distinguished guest of the most recent day of action, December 10th, 2013, is here with us today. Sister Hatune Dogam is a Syrian Orthodox nun representing the foundation she created, which has already helped thousands of persecuted and destitute Christians. She is the link between Vienna and Orlando, where the idea of a prayer march for solidarity with persecuted Christians has been adopted and publicized for the first time in the United States. Members of the Viennese group are delighted at the American initiative and impressed by the spiritual power and enthusiasm of the organizers of today's event. The members of Austria's Solidarity with Persecuted Christians in the heart of Europe send their sisters and brothers in the United States of America a spirit-filled welcome and prayers for the success of this day and for a firm foundation of the cause. And the Viennese initiators hope that this action will become a lasting institution and a model for other parts of the United States of America. May the good Lord bless this endeavor and uphold the formation of an extended fellowship of like-minded platforms. The Viennese organizers' platform have learned that a sense of solidarity is important not only for our brothers and sisters in the critical regions of the Middle East. Unfortunately, Christian persecution is also a real and growing problem in our own Western lands. The oppressive situation takes different shapes in our countries. It disguises itself in the deceptive forms of suppression of opinion, denigration, and discrimination, and includes so much hostility that churches are vandalized, as happened earlier this spring in Vienna, when a man vandalized 6 churches, even setting fire to one. As the dominant Christian culture in Western countries becomes more hollowed out, even greater hostility to Christians may be expected. Our platform activities should focus on this growing danger and to battle against it. In this, too, your friends in Vienna encourage the organizers of the program here in Orlando and wish you all the best. May God's rich blessings be upon you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Elisabeth. And one of the things that we need to realize is that Europe is slowly but surely becoming Islamic. That might shock some of you, but having been a number of times to Vienna in the last several years, I can testify to that with my own witness.